Hello and welcome in once again, another edition of Prep Preview on CISN as we get ready for tonight's big games across Central Iowa and the state of Iowa. Week number 3 of the Iowa high school football season. Trent Connon joined by Dar Danielson here in our pregame show. And Dar, week number 3 here, some interesting matchups and a lot of cross-state matchups across 4A and across Central Iowa. We're going to be able to see both sides of the state.
Yeah, and we'll have one in Waukee where Prairie's coming over here to Waukee to play, and that's an interesting matchup. Talking with their coach, he says, I know Waukee's 0-2, but they've lost by 7 points, and Prairie's 2-0, but he said we've had a lot of chances where we could have scored more where we didn't. So, yeah, and it's a good chance to, Central Iowa, they beat up on each other, and you get a chance now to play somebody on the eastern side of the state and get a chance to see maybe how you stack up against a little bit different competition and that kind of thing. So, and then there's some good rivalries there with Iowa City coming back over playing at Ames, and those kind of things. So the Cedar Rapids school. So yeah, it's a lot of good matchups you see.
West Des Moines Valley, they're making a trip over to the east. They'll be taking on Cedar Rapids Kennedy. Kennedy ranked number 3 in the latest Radio Iowa rankings. So something to keep an eye on there. Coming off that rivalry victory a week ago for the Tigers as they face off against Dowling Catholic. That'll be the game here tonight. Speaking of Dowling Catholic, as they'll take on Johnston. Two teams kind of searching for a victory, trying to get back on the right side of things. Should be a real good one at Valley Stadium tonight.
Yeah, and I think Johnston maybe a little more so than Dowling. We know in the past Dowling has lost a regular season game and they've bounced back. They've been able to come back, and there's that heated thing with Valley that game always, you never know how it's going to end up, and so how they bounce back from that. Then Johnston, they're just trying to find their legs and where they're at. They lost a lot of kids, and a lot of kids playing this year that had been backups before, and they're moving into those spots and trying to get that all figured out.
Can make the argument certainly the best 0-2 team in the state right now is those Waukee Warriors. We got a lot going on. We'll continue to take a look at them here on the Prep Preview on CISN. We're back with more in a moment.
Moms typically get to make a majority of the healthcare decisions for their family. That can be a lot of pressure, but not for me, because I know the choice is ours. For medical tests like MRIs, X-rays, CAT scans, and of course mammograms, ask your doctor to refer you to Iowa Radiology. They work around our hectic schedules. They're the best at what they do, and they're so great with my family. They truly care, and it shows. Visit iowaradiology.com or call to schedule an appointment. Iowa Radiology.
Central Bank is proud to support the unmatched spirit of sportsmanship and hard work exemplified by our local athletes. We're fans of high school sports and the way the big game and hometown team rally a community. Best of luck to all of today's competitors. Play hard, have fun, and make something great happen. Central Bank, member FDIC.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Save thousands in Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. 2019 Silverado 1500 Double Cab up to 25% off. 2019 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, LT or RST up to 20% off MSRP. Or up to $5,000 off plus 0% for 72 months. We're in a position to give you more for your trade in Waukee. 2019 Colorado up to $7,000 off. Or $5,000 off plus 1.9% for 60 months. Or 2.9% for 72 months. These won't last. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Trent Condon and Dar Danielson back with you on Prep Preview on CISN. Getting ready for tonight's matchups. Well, we talked, Dar, a little bit at the top about Waukee looking for that first win of the season. Dowling against Johnston. Those teams looking for their second win of the year. Our other game tonight on CISN, Ankeny Centennial, and you hate to call it a layup, but Waterloo West comes to town. Going to feel different for them. Certainly a big favor. This should be a game where Centennial going to have a chance to go out there against Waterloo West, get some young guys some playing time.
Yeah, and they need to, they need to keep the hammer down, keep working, because that was one of the things. You look at District 2, you've got Centennial, Roosevelt, Fort Dodge, and Marshalltown, all 2-0 to start the season. We've seen some good things out of Roosevelt and Fort Dodge, so, Centennial is going to face them when they get into district play, so, you want to keep on working on things, and you can't discount any team, but you just got to keep working, and you can't get into your head that you're too good if you go out and get an easy victory.
You mentioned Des Moines Roosevelt, maybe one of the surprises here of the early season, not just that they're 2-0, but the way that they did that against Lincoln, who played really well in week one. They dominated them a week ago. This Roosevelt team, their new head coach, Mitchell Moore, and it's difficult at the city schools. We've talked in the past just in terms of numbers, how difficult it can be. If there's a guy to do it, I had an opportunity to meet him earlier in the summer. He is an outstanding coach. You can see he has the passion for it. If there's anybody that can turn around one of the city schools, I'm certainly betting on Mitchell Moore. He's done a great job early on.
Yep, and he's talked about the attitude and the way you approach it. They've had success early on. The thing is going to be, how do you approach it when you have you're faced with your trailing in the fourth quarter, or you get a loss, and how do you rebound? But I think you build that foundation of everything's positive and moving forward and a new attitude, and I like what he's done over there with that.
He's done a really good job. We'll also have audio streaming tonight. Urbandale making their way over to Des Moines Lincoln to take on the Rail Splitters. Urbandale 0-2 start. Lincoln looking for their second win of the year. These are all non-district games. Still have a couple weeks left of the non-district before what you talked about there, Dar, getting into when we get to district play and the importance of those, certainly securing your spot in the playoffs. But these are the fun weeks where we get to see some different matchups, some of the top matchups across the state. And we mentioned some of those cross-state rivalries that we'll see. City High going over to Ames. I really liked what they've done there the night before the Cy-Hawk College game and what they've done on that front too. Want to ask you though, the 6-time reigning state champion Dowling Catholic Maroons. We touched on it earlier, but taking a loss in the regular season. Gavin Williams is back practicing, their transfer running back coming in from Southeast Polk. He helped lead the Rams to the semifinals a year ago. It does feel maybe a little bit different. Is it Dowling taking a step back, or is it maybe the rest of the teams taking a step forward?
I think it's part of it is graduation. You turn over your lineup every year, and then there is that always being at the top of the podium and people attacking you. But also, again, and Tom Wilson will tell you this, you have new players that have to step up and move in. I think that the formula that's been good for Dowling, though, is if you always keep things close. And then it seems like as they get toward the end of the season, they've had this confidence in those close games that they're going to pull something out to get the win when it comes to playoff time. So, too early a sample to really tell them that, but you can't count them out on what they've done in the past. They've lost a game in the regular season and advanced. Gavin Williams, we'll see. So far, they've done pretty well without him. Mm-hmm. We'll see. Then you run into that factor when he comes back. Does he try too hard to
right.
to get back into it? He's coming back from injury. Sometimes you want to make a big splash when you're coming back and working that all in. It's all about getting into a rhythm and moving forward and advancing each game. It's cliche, one game at a time, but it is as you move forward and work on things.
We'll take a look at our keys to the game for that one with Dowling Catholic against Johnson coming up a little bit later on in the show here. Prep Preview on CISN. Other games, you mentioned Roosevelt. They're on the road tonight over at Roberts Stadium. They'll be taking on East. Really intriguing one. Cedar Falls, who took that Dowling team to the brink last year in the state championship game. They welcome in Ankeny High. That should be an outstanding football game. Two teams ranked in the top 10 in the latest rankings there. Ankeny with a high-flying offense with Brody Breck, their outstanding junior wide receiver, and a whole lot of talent over there with the Hawks. Maybe one of the best games we'll see tonight across the state.
Yeah, and Ankeny is a team that, I don't want to say discounted them, but you look and you thought, well, Centennial's probably the better team in Ankeny. That they had that early matchup, but Ankeny has come on. They've gotten better, and as you say, that high flying offense, you got to learn how to, with a great receiver, you got to learn how to control that, because one or two plays can put them right back in a ball game. So yeah, I've been impressed with what they've done so far.
We'll take a timeout. When we come back on the other side, keys to the game. Johnston taking on Dowling Catholic. It's our Central Iowa game of the week here on CISN, one of 3 that we'll have video streaming with, and also audio streaming tonight of Urbandale and Lincoln. All come your way next on Prep Preview.
MidAmerican Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right. You decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
The other guys, they think they know what special means. At Godfather's Pizza, we do special, and we do it better. We add the T. There's a Godfather specialty pizza with your name on it. Classic combo, all meat combo, hot stuff, taco, yeah, even veggie and more. All of them piled high with the best toppings and 100% real cheese. Treat yourself special. Order specialty pizzas from Godfather's Pizza.
Is this guy a contractor who does good work or a contractor who needs work? For a reliable recommendation, trust the Better Business Bureau, protecting consumers for over a century. When you go to bbb.org to check out a business, you'll learn if it's BBB accredited, see its grade on customer service, and read honest, useful reviews from local people. For online recommendations you can trust, start with trust at bbb.org/Iowa.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Schottenkirk Ford Indianola's kickoff event this month only. Take $16,000 off MSRP on every brand new 2019 Ford F-150 Crew Cab XLT 4x4 in stock. Plus, first responders receive an additional $1,000 bonus cash on new 2019 F-150 Super Duty, Expedition, and Ranger. New 2019 Fusion and Escape starting at just $18,999. Ford fans drive to Indianola to buy Fords. A kickoff event. Schottenkirk Ford Indianola. SchottenkirkFord.com.
Every month or so, there's another story in the media about when and how often we need to get our mammograms. It's kind of confusing. When this happens, I like to consult with experts. So I called Iowa Radiology. They recommend women get an annual mammogram starting at age 40. They know that it's the best way to detect cancers early and save lives. And that's good enough for me. Visit iowaradiology.com or call to schedule your mammogram. Iowa Radiology, our focus is your good health.
Both have played, though, different types of teams. Centennial, the last time they were here, won in overtime, and Waterloo West 2-0. But, hey, you still got to win the games no matter who the competition is.
Yeah, this is, like you said, these are 2-0 teams, so it's be a good test. This is not the same Waterloo West team that they played last year. And you kind of get this kind of gap team right now, because I know what you don't want to have a Centennial looking for, like, who do we play next week? So this is going to be that trap game.
Well, and this is a game that features incredible offense for Waterloo West. They have a running back. He might be below 6 foot, but man, he runs impressively.
Yes, he's averaging 13 yards a carry, which is amazing. He has 5 touchdowns already in just 2 games. He's not a slasher. He doesn't run outside. He likes to take up the hole. He may be a $170 wet.
Isaac Tolbert is who we are talking about. And another name, this one for Centennial, Avery Gates, one of the best players in all of Class 4A all around, not in the lineup tonight. Injuries keeping him on the sideline, but the Jaguars possibly are getting one, maybe two of their other injured players back tonight. That'd be huge.
They got two of the linemen back. You know, Peterson's coming back at tackle, and Peepers coming back, especially in the defensive line. He's a major impact player. They still want to run the ball. Coach talked about we still need to get out there and get that ground game going. Last week, and they had a little bit of success with the passing game. They're passing at a 70% clip, which is really good for them. They can keep that up, keep that balance going, and kind of deal with the speed of Waterloo West. All
right, Tim Halber, I'm Paul Yeager. We'll be back with our pregame coverage at 6:30 on CISN.TV. Let's go back to our pregame show. It is...
Central Bank is proud to support the unmatched spirit of sportsmanship and hard work exemplified by our local athletes. We're fans of high school sports and the way the big game and hometown team rally a community. Best of luck to all of today's competitors. Play hard, have fun, and make something great happen. Central Bank, member FDIC.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Trent Condon joined by Dar Danielson as we continue on the prep preview on CISN. Tonight, big night across high school football across the state. Our game here at Valley Stadium will be Dowling Catholic as they go up against Johnston and the Dragons. Should be an excellent game here. Dar, taking a look at our keys to the game. And number one I had on the list this week is quarterback play. And we've seen some inconsistency, certainly for Dowling Catholic, what we've seen out of them. But on the other side for Johnston, they played three quarterbacks already this season, all to varying degrees of success, but it's week 3, it's Dowling. You don't want to have to be worrying about three quarterbacks.
No, and I think the one thing with Dowling that they have a good offensive line. I'm not saying that Johnston doesn't, but when you have that solid offensive line, it allows you for a few more, errors as quarterback. And for Johnston, they lost an outstanding quarterback, and finding that person to fill in sometimes it takes a little bit, and some coaches, Dowling has gone, rotated quarterbacks. Johnson, some coaches don't like to do that, some do, but it's finding that quarterback that gets in a rhythm, and then, the offense and the other players look to him as he makes plays and so that's a key, someone that can show a little bit of everything there, and that's the nice thing too about these non-district games early. Maybe you can, feel that out a little bit with these guys and see who's going to step up so that when you get to district play, they have a little foundation, and maybe you want to set one quarterback and go forward with it.
Well, you got to assume too that Coach Woodley not only looking at what he wants to see on the field, making all the throws, those type of things, but also the leadership quality that comes along with it at that quarterback spot. Hank Heinrich on the other side for Dowling Catholic. He's been a little bit inconsistent at this point, but one thing that will help when he gets Gavin Williams back and that guy at the running back position, that'll help any quarterback.
Yeah, that always helps you too when you can hand the ball off and get some yards and it's not all on you, to make big plays. That takes a little of the pressure off. Also, that means the defense can't be blitzing too, and knowing that you're, always in passing situation, they're going to blitz. If you have a guy back there, you can either block for you, or maybe you can hand it off to him or swing it out to him. That takes a lot of the pressure off the quarterback.
Number 2, special teams concerns, and this really goes with both teams trying to shore up that third unit. For Johnston, they've already missed a field goal this year. They've missed an extra point. Dowling Catholic has had 3-4 kickoffs go out of bounds. And you talk about, a battle for field position, how important that is when you get late in the year. Really on both sides, you look at it. Last week, the punting game for Dowling averaged under 30 yards per punt. You can't do that in a tight game, and that was part of the reason that Valley was able to come back and get that victory there. Shoring up that third unit, building some depth along the special teams.
Yeah, and that's key. You forget about it. Sometimes in high school, you think those extra points and everything are just automatic. We had Waukee in their third touchdown, a bobbled snap. They missed the extra point, so now they're down 1. They didn't chase it with 2 for right away, but when they got to the end of the game, then they had to make that up somewhere. And also, kicking that out of bounds, you automatically give that team the ball to move up.
Yep.
So that's not good, and I'm sure that's something they want to, I could see if you want to kick away from the returner, but keep it in play, and that way it gives you a chance to either trap them back there or at least, you're not starting out in good field position.
And finally, bouncing back. Dowling, you mentioned a little bit earlier, Dar, this team has taken losses in the regular season. And last year they had 2 during the regular season, but we know come playoff time what this program has been. But bouncing back and being able to, find things in a positive light, get that positive momentum going back. And though in the grand scheme of things, this game isn't hugely important for the playoff race and home games and those types of things, just getting back in that positive mindset.
Yeah, a win solves a lot of problems, even if you play poorly. You make mistakes. A win helps you because you're moving forward with it. And for Johnston, too, just getting a win and getting that confidence is big for them. For Dowling, too, there's still a level of confidence there. You take one loss and you're not starting to think, but if you take another one, then you're starting maybe the doubt, and then that's when we talk about that leadership on the teams and those seniors and how they rally you around and come back.
Finally, Dar, you'll be over at Waukee tonight. You'll be seeing the Warriors as they welcome in Cedar Rapids Prairie. Should be an excellent football game there, as you mentioned at the top. Good to see these East versus Central Iowa, East versus West matchups, if you will, here happening during the regular season, and that has happened more and more. Waukee looking for that first victory of the year. What are you going to be looking for tonight?
Well, one big thing in the games has been turnovers. They have not gotten a turnover, but they've generated a couple interceptions last week that kind of hurt them. One was a pick 6, so they need to cut down on the turnovers there, and then try to limit the big plays a little bit, giving up a few big plays, but offensively they've had some big plays themselves. And Andrew Nord, it seems to be in the second half, he's taken over quarterback and done a lot of good things for him. And we're talking confidence. I think they can say, well, we've only lost 2 games by 7 points, but a loss is a loss, and the doubt can start creeping in a little bit. So, and talking with the Prairie coach, Waukee beat them at Prairie last year, and they've started 2-0, but he said, we don't want to go on the road and be overconfident in ourselves, because he talked about they had 4 drives in the red zone where they didn't score last week. So he said, we scored 13 points, but it could have easily been 30. So a lot of little things playing together in that. I think Waukee, they need to right themselves, come out and maybe get an early lead too. That's been an issue, as they've fallen behind in these first 2 games, and get an early lead and then give their defense a little more time to work.
Speaking of the defense and what they're going to be facing, Prairie comes in with 2 different players really running the football incredibly well. Their top running back averaging just a shade under 200 yards per game. Their second running back just a shade 99 yards per game as the second running back. So they're going to come at you. They're going to bring a lot of different running backs, have to play fundamentally sound on that defensive side for Waukee.
Yeah, they are, and they lost a great running back from last year, but they have 2 guys, the one. And what the coach talked about is the one running back who you mentioned averaging 100 yards, he's their only really returning experienced starter on offense at the skill position. So they're going to have to develop that. Then Waukee, now you can't look ahead, but then they have Valley coming up. That's early schedule for them. So, you'd like to at least get a win here in the 3rd game, heading into the Valley game too, and then a little more confidence. So it's a big early season game for them.
Should be a good one tonight. That's Waukee hosting Cedar Rapids Prairie, and you can see it here on CISN. Dowling Catholic at Valley Stadium. They take on Johnston, Ankeny Centennial against Waterloo West. Video streaming and all those games. Just search on YouTube, CISN. You can find the links to all those games. We'll also have an audio feed for Urbandale at Des Moines Lincoln. All come your way here tonight on CISN. Thanks for watching.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.